Is this our third year in a row?
Yeah, next feels
It is hot. Whenever they turn on the boiler or whatever it is,
you can still
they can't undo that.
open the window.
So
let's plug it in.
yeah, if you have a C drive or a HDMI, whichever one. So if you have, should work that way. I guess I need to go back. Okay. Cool. And you came last year, right?
Yes, yes.
I thought so. Oh, and did you come through? But you just presented the other
Yeah.
one.
This is both our fourth visit.
Dang.
I did one by myself and he's done.
Okay.
I presented both those times. You know. All right. Well, I just so my name's Charles Pratt. I'm a police officer for the City of Madison Police Department in Madison, Wisconsin, where like the University of Wisconsin is. What else? State capital of Wisconsin. This is my partner Trey Turner. He's also a police officer there. And I'm going to do a little presentation here about social work and police, like that, since social work class. And we can talk a little bit. We're here on a recruiting visit, so we'll do a little bit of that at the end, and feel free to ask any questions. We have a lot of police officers in our department who went to social work school or got social work degrees, and it's kind of a very moves back and forth. It's actually a pretty preparatory degree. You don't really think about it when you get it, but I think it actually works pretty well because a lot of the work we do is very social work kind of ish. So just a quick introduction to myself. I grew up in Ithaca, New York. I don't have like a really, hard, fast line to policing. I didn't study criminal justice in college or anything. Studied emergency medicine, actually. I was being a paramedic. I worked in Pittsburgh after college for a little bit as a paramedic. And then I went to move to Madison, become a police officer, work as a mental health officer now. And also, that's just as well. So just some objectives here. So we'll just kind of define roles, talk about some things kind of where we have in common. So there's a lot of cases that kind of social work and police really work together on. In fact, argue almost all of them in some ways. But like mental health commitments, we have a kind of a county crisis unit in Madison, where they have to approve the mental health commitments, and we have to pretty much also approve them. So we really have to work together with that. Obviously, like suicidal attempts, same kind of deal. And then, family, there's a lot of social work and family and domestic child crises, and we're obviously the first responders to that. Drug and alcohol abuse, all those type of things. And then we also, because of that, we also have very similar professional challenges. So, we have to respond to these mental health emergencies. We often have like kind of shift work or duty work, kind of in a more, 24-hour, 24/7 capacity. You have to work off hours, weekends and nights and stuff. So our kind of primary response is usually to like control a situation. For police, you have to triage calls. You kind of have this responsibility and ownership. You're very subject to public scrutiny, second guessing. Then there's obviously still a lot of concerns about liability for both of us. To kind of explore some differences, obviously, police kind of the structure of it's a good bit different. You have this command structure that's usually a little paramilitary. We tend to focus more on short-term solutions since you're just trying to fix that problem for a short-term period versus a long-term period. Very call-driven, so much more focused on efficiency. I think more visible to the public because basically everything we do is out in the public. And then we often have very sporadic and kind of maybe inconsistent contacts with people. So it's tougher to work long-term with the same person that you would potentially get to in a social work capacity where you kind of know everything that's going on. And then for social work, it seems to be, in my experience, much more individually focused. So it's focused on diagnosis, assessment, long-term treatment of things, and kind of don't necessarily have, in and also are much more specialized. Like you specialize in an area, versus police have to be kind of jack of all trades. And then of course different goals, right? Police have this much more kind of public goal of like restoring order and ensuring safety for the community, versus social work much more clinical goal of like the role of really working with that individual person. This is dictated by different things, the laws of wherever state you're in, and policies and such. So some barriers. So we kind of discussed this. I discussed this. The acute versus chronic risk. So much more, police much more acute. Social work usually more chronic. Immediate safety is a much more bigger police concern versus long-term treatment needs. Not as big of a concern, but bigger concern in social work. Securing the situation is usually a police concern versus the least restrictive. So I find often police officers really want like either emergency detention or some very like secure disposition to a call, versus social worker have this least restrictive outcome goal of everything. So are a little better with allowing for some vulnerability, I guess, in the situation. And then police much more focused on behavior, ensuring safety, not necessarily like the treatability of something. So mental health versus criminal justice. Obviously, these two systems. I mean, I'm sure you guys have read stuff about how jails are our biggest, mental health hospitals with most people in it. It's often a very difficult and nuanced thing, as I've learned throughout my time in policing. I definitely read those before I started, and it's kind of not simple. So basically, so often, like it's often difficult to tell what the how much the mental health of somebody played a role in their their ability to, or what they crime or whatever they've committed. I find often in Wisconsin, especially, this is true. Like mental health commitment has a much higher bar than like arrest for like a low level crime per se. So therefore, like if somebody's causing like a disturbance that's really like disturbing the public, but it's not reaching the level of commitment, then you kind of then as police, there's like a duty to help them to make it a good situation for the public to live in. And therefore, like a lot of people end up in jail that may be better served with the commitment, but because of that, it's kind of easy. Then we kind of discussed this. I mean, that's kind of the same thing. Often somebody has received adequate treatment for their mental illness, but are still committing these criminal behaviors. So they end up working through the criminal justice system. Often the criminal justice system can kind of provide some incentives for somebody to actually seek treatment. So there's kind of there's a lot of different reasons why this ends up happening, unfortunately. And then just to discuss some system issues that we all kind of have to deal with, public or private mental health systems or healthcare systems in general, insurance and private pay and all that really creates this inequity in mental health care for sure. Lack of facilities for AODA issues, lack of placement options. We deal with that quite a bit. We actually have to transport all our mental health commitments to 4 hours north of us, or 3 hours north of us to Winnebago.
How fast you drive.
Yeah, exactly. To Winnebago. Often have like huge, very long medical clearance processes, up to 8 hours that will sit somebody in the hospital. So it's just a very tedious long-term thing because of these lack of all these resources and funding. And then some things that covered, I just threw this in there. It's so like we often talk about HIPAA, and HIPAA is often a really difficult thing kind of for me to navigate with providers, because they often are they don't want to disclose information or share information. So one thing that the HIPAA is obviously protects your healthcare information from being disclosed to others, which include the police. But if there's obviously a threat to somebody's health, or a threat to somebody's health, then that kind of logo goes out the window, and you can definitely disclose any information that's needed. So if somebody's gone missing or something like that, or you need police intervention, then that's okay. And so just some recommendations. So as you guys go out into the field, if you're social work or whatever professions you go, just remember just to kind of recognize some professional differences between social work and police, because you're probably going to have to work together. That there's there's expert social work. You have the expertise in these mental health and treatment issues, but police usually have the expertise in the control and safety issues. Kind of best to kind of have this credibility and collaborative kind of ethos to it. Like kind of avoid kind of reducing the police to a role of like taxi service or babysitters. It's kind of like often I feel like from kind of my social work partners in this sometimes that like they don't see me necessarily to their level of like education or such. And for honestly, like all of our police officers pretty much have bachelor's degrees, or if they don't have a bachelor's degree, they have years and years of life experience that essentially equates to that. We have police officers who are lawyers with like master's degrees and PhDs, and so they're not like they may have this role that they have to do something like that, but they're not really. It's not exactly like low level work per se. And then really try to, I think, cultivate these relationships, like wherever you go, ride alongs with like whatever local police department you're going to be working with and stuff. Really puts a face to your name, and will, I think, often creates a much better like relationship between the two, because if they know who you are, same and vice versa, you kind of have you have a lot more like empathy and sympathy when you're asking them to do something or go the extra mile for them. And then managing emergencies. So mental health, so generally just make sure you share, share that need to know information. It's not the time to depart from standard practice. Try to keep people informed, address barriers that arise. So one thing that I remember that kind of feels like the previous kind of slide reduced to like a lower level. I remember going on like a check welfare that I think a psychiatrist or a therapist called us to go check on somebody because they sent a message in that was like kind of vaguely suicidal in nature or something like that. And then they tried to call him back like the next day or something, and they weren't answering. So they sent us out to check on him, and he wasn't answering because he was taking a nap or something like that. So I woke up and said, "Yeah, I'll call him back." And then I tried to call back the therapist, but then she had gone home for the day or something like that. And it's always kind of annoying that like she didn't leave a message like, "Oh, the police might call." She had asked for a call back, and it's kind of, so if you're gonna want people to kind of not go the extra mile, but make an extra step to communicate with you, make sure you're available for that communication. That's always kind of a frustrating thing. So yeah, it brings us to communication. Recognize the chain of command in police. Often we're not making decisions in such a way. And I think appointing like a clinician who's a liaison is good, so that you have that person that everyone knows who to go to from the police side and vice versa. And then a contact person for the police department as well. And then, so I wanted to kind of talk about kind of how it works in our police department. So we have this kind of specialized police response for mental health calls. So I'm a mental health officer, so I'll discuss what that is specifically. But Trey is a patrol officer, and all of us are kind of basically CIT trained. We get this CIT training through the academy. So they respond to most calls within the most mental health calls, 911 calls on the street. And then we got these liaison officers, which is this voluntary position that you get 2 extra days of training on mental health related things each year.
Can I give a context real quick for those who walked in? So these gentlemen drove 7 hours from Madison, Wisconsin, and they are hiring social work police officers without your degree. You can walk up there. I don't want to explain it improperly, but they are hiring. You don't need your bachelor's completed to go work up there, they will help you finish it when you go up there to be a social work liaison within the police department. And they are going to be at the job fair later on today, but they're hiring, it sounds like, well, and
It's
then
next spring.
for next spring.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Our academy start the last week of May, usually first week of June each year. The deadline to complete it is the end of October. Yeah, so.
You
but-
start way more out of the gate there than you do in the social work field. Just
Yeah, I know, I might just leave school.
just to keep that in mind. So, okay, all right, sorry.
Yeah.
There'll be room for questions at the end. I just want to.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, so we have these voluntary mental health officers, which are full-time positions, which is what I am. We have crisis workers, which are like mental health social workers that are embedded within our department, and then also a captain of community outreach who oversees it. So mental health officers go over, kind of do a lot of meetings, share information with other kind of social work providers and around the whoever person, read reports that are routed by the patrol officers who actually go to the calls, so we kind of are familiar with what's going on, and kind of just do some follow-up, share information so that patrol officers can better respond to incidents. We also attend a lot of meetings, kind of are the point of contact for officers, family members, mental health providers with the police department. And then also kind of provide some front-end support for officers out on patrol. And then just to kind of like this co-located crisis worker. So these are the crisis worker embedded with the police department. So 3 days a week they work, next to me at a desk next to me. And we either go out on calls, provide a crisis response in the field, or attend some weekly meetings. We can share information better. They also get the reports so they can review. So if they see an individual that, they've been working with a lot and has had a police contact, they kind of know what happens. We also do some home visits if, somebody's been causing a lot of police calls and we want to kind of work with them to manage that. Kind of discussed this already, so let's skip it. But yep, here's my contact information. I have some cards too if anybody wants it. So kind of from a recruiting standpoint, we are at the career fair this afternoon. It's at 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Down at their main kind of union building, student union building back there. So we'll have a table there. You can definitely come and talk to us there. But if you have any questions now, I'm also very much free to ask.
I think there are some questions, even if you guys don't have them. I have some. Do you guys have any questions? They're hiring right now. You don't need your degree. So it is best if you have
we usually hire,
2 years of college, but
yeah, usually at least associates. But often, especially if you're like a rising senior or you're a senior now and you apply, then you'll get the acceptance and you'll start like within, I don't know when your semester ends, but probably like May or something, and then you'll start immediately after. So you get paid as you go through the academy. It's very uncommon for somebody to actually get paid for their training nowadays, but you get paid like as a police officer, you're gaining seniority, you're gaining, pension years, retirement years as you're going through those 6 months of the academy. And it's honestly like, if you're kind of scared of it, we're not a very paramilitary organization like most police departments. You're not marching or getting yelled at or having to do push-ups or something like that. It's not like boot camp or anything. It's kind of like going to college again.
is the academy credits also? Is that part of like a credit system to?
No, not really. There might be a way to use it. But
You do pay for some education, it sounds like. If I remember from last
you pay for it.
year. They, like the department reimburses.
Yes, the department reimburses. So once you start, if you were to get hired, let's say with the associate's degree, they reimburse you for whatever you have to take to get a bachelor's degree. Or if you want to get you have a bachelor's degree, and you want to get a master's degree, when I got my master's degree, a lot of it was reimbursed. For the department. So
Say,
it's a pretty good deal.
If there was a hypothetical, I got in trouble my senior year of high school drinking, I got a possession of alcohol that night, or things of that nature. What does that look like if you apply?
So when you apply, you go through a background check, and I mean, it's best to be honest. We're pretty, my impression is we're pretty lenient on that in general. Like if it's something that you clearly like work past, if there's a pattern or stuff, it might be an issue. But if it's something that you work past, I mean, there's definitely people who've gotten hired who have, used drugs that are special. I mean, but marijuana is very much decriminalized in Madison. I mean, obviously drinking that's pretty common. So as long as it's not something like a OWI would probably or DUI would probably be done. But
Like I got sober myself in college, in the middle of college, but I did, and just a personal story, and I feel comfortable saying it now that I do have tenure, but like I was able to stop drinking in college. But I had some trouble senior year and freshman college, sophomore college. And I guess technically those could be even sealed if they're a minor. I don't know though. So
yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people who've gone through background checks who've had have had a disorderly conduct when they were in college or something, and they're drunk and they've gotten hired.
Yeah.
Sometimes they make you like wait a year or something, like delay it, like say, oh, we'll give you another year. Make sure you're still doing all right. But
Okay.
it's not like we don't have any hard lines. Very few hard lines when it comes to what will eliminate you from the process.
do you guys wonder how much they get paid? We at least have one. But do you want to ask that question? You want to ask him the question?
How much I get paid?
So we start at 35 an hour,
Oh yeah, I can do it free.
and then maxed out. We're both maxed out. I make about 45, 48 an hour now.
Because that's public info too. Like you can
Yeah.
look it up, search it.
And there's also like tons of overtime.
So you guys know what that looks
Really?
like over a year of 2,000 hours of work?
It's like,
We'll both make over 100K this year, and we don't work that much overtime.
Because overtime is time and a half, right?
Yeah.
Now that's when you're talking.
Yeah, and we also get we get pretty standard raises each year. We're unionized workforce, so we negotiate contracts and so it's pensions, and the Wisconsin pension system is, I think, pretty much one of the best, if not the best in the country. It's fully funded, so it's not going to go away anytime soon. And
Like Chicago.
yeah, you get to retire after 25 or 25 years,
So you'd retire at 45, right?
or
I can
well,
retire at 45 and be rich. Oh my God, like this college don't get no easier, boy. This shit don't get no
If you guys have questions or statements for us, just like dialogue, I know you talked a lot, but I'm trying to think of the right questions to ask.
yeah.
No, I don't.
How old were you when you both joined?
So I was 28.
Okay.
And then, so there's no age limit, and I'm a trade turner officer as well. I actually did a long career in the military prior to joining the police department. So I was 43 when I started,
Okay.
and it was a little bit off, but you can retire. You have to wait till you're 50 to retire.
Okay.
So I'm going to retire after only a few years, so my pension won't be as big as his, but I already have a pension. So
The military one.
the
The
military
20 years. Okay.
Mm,
Yes.
living on money. For your kids.
But yeah, what I was going to discuss a little bit, and I know you have a few presentations to do, and I don't want to go beyond 10. That's why I was kind of sit quietly. I was going to talk a little bit about my perspective of policing as a minority in our society, and one of the things that I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I don't know where everybody's from, but Milwaukee is a super segregated city, and I grew up in an all-black neighborhood. And whenever police officers came into our neighborhood, there were always white guys taking black guys away. And it's like, why is that? So my perspective of policing was always negative from the beginning. And then you learn that, policing started as slave patrols, capturing slaves, returning to the white masters, or whatever the case was. And it's like, well, it shouldn't be that way. So from my perspective, I said I should do what I can to make it a better. You get into a department and you're like, well, it's not exactly like I thought it was before I got there, but I'll still do what I can to give it a more positive perspective from people that came from where I came from. So that's kind of where I come from with policing. I try to work with respect. I think all officers do, with respect for the people that I work with, the community members. And I have a better perspective, I think, than others might dealing with people from my community. So I feel like I deal with people from my community pretty smoothly. I appreciate that part of policing. So that I was going to go a little bit more into kind of that perspective, but that's what I think of policing. It's one of those things that you don't really you have a different kind of respect for once you get into it, I guess. So
I was gonna say you're welcome to stay for presentations, and we have food and coffee in the room you met me in. You're welcome to be there as a base. I know you're coming to our next class. Nobody else has a question? Looking for a job, looking to go to the career fair.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
You all know where the career fair is today? At the student center?
It is a curriculum.
It's at the student center.
It is.
And especially like what you were saying, I highly recommend, based on the way we pay, we will hire most folks with an associate's degree, but you get a bigger raise with a bachelor's or a master's. So once your education incentive kicks in, that having your bachelor's degree, we kind of encourage you to finish that first before, because you'll be working right next to somebody who's making 25% more than you because you didn't finish the degree,
Which you're all half done with that associates by May, essentially. Like you would have 30 hours of your associates, which is 60
Y'all know how
hours.
that sound? I was gonna hurry up and be over.
Well, thank you guys for having us, and thank you. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you guys for coming. Hey, but now my teacher, hey, so about this presentation I gotta do today. I got to go through.
You want to do it Tuesday, don't you?
Yeah.
Don't you like how easy we are on you nowadays?
You see my
Tuesday?
friend? Yes. And we gonna be in class every day.
What's your all's last names?
I'm Howard.
Okay.
I just emailed. And I say I'm acing this class like it's nothing. I love this class right now.
Well, that's why it's intro to social work.
Man.
We give you softballs.
Intro
Intro to social work.
So what's the next one after this?
Get ready.
When I'm taking
Buck-
a spring, when
Buckle
I'm
your seatbelts.
For real?
I mean, it's
why can't we
college.
have you?
Yeah, we not have you no more.
You guys will have me again.
Oh hell no,
But
no,
not
I didn't do
next
that semester.
Huh?
Next class I got to show up.
All the other two classes I teach are practice 2,
I can't do that though. Like I gotta have you like.
leading groups. I only teach 3 classes out of your 40. Though I only teach less than 10% of all of your classes.
So we'll teach
Are all the other teachers mean you or something?
I don't like them, man.
It's just our English teacher.
It's our English teacher for
We
real.
need a sit down. We need a
We got homes.
Somebody need to sit him down.
Yeah, somebody need to be
Okay.
more than sitting there down.
Who was presenting first, though?
You got yours wide open, like.
No, I don't.
You?
Oh, she got it right open on the screen. She done had it up since we walked in here. Like, you might.
Oh, yeah, you can plug in right to your computer.
But you might as well leave number with. I wish I could have
Right. Tuesday, I'm going first. I'm getting up and everything. Like, it's there.
Or I'm gonna be right after you.
All right, Chris, you ready? That's how we coming Tuesday.
Swear to God.
We coming hard.
So our presentations are,
Hey, then I get my paper, but I ain't doing how her paper look.
you still have to turn the paper, don't you?
Nah, I turn my paper. I turn
All
my
of
paper.
them? You promise?
Look at my grades.
Well, I mean, I grade them, but you could also have something that wasn't turned in the,
Nah, I got everything turned in.
Oh,
The assignment is small.
okay.
I got all 80 of them. Look at it.
Well, I understand that, but there's a lot of assignments in this class. It's like
Oh, it
every
So
other.
I'm about
Is
to
it assignments other than the homework?
You're saying, is there more homework this presentation?
Okay, so what's our next paper gonna be in?
It's the diversity paper. So you do this diversity presentation, and then we have a diversity paper, and then it will be the final. We get 10 days off for Thanksgiving.
Okay, when is break?
Oh, my
Which
birthday.
one? Thanksgiving or Christmas?
Oh, November 17th. And when I go
Thanksgiving
home on my birthday.
in Cincinnati,
You
right?
don't sound real strict right now.
I don't care about
But you got to come back and do exams all like bright-eyed and bushy.
About that being like.
Yeah, that's my thing. When do we come back to that?
December.
December what?
I'm studying.
I thought we didn't come
I
back
can
to
look up the
January.
calendar for you.
No,
if
that's
you want.
that's for Christmas.
Oh.
Yeah, please. 'Cause I didn't talk about my birthday.
When's your birthday?
November 27th.
Oh, you
Thanksgiving.
ain't Scorpio, so you ain't one of us. See, that's what you lost.
All right.
You know, Sagittarius, you a sneaky lying little thing.
Sagittarius.
Just sneaky little lying little thing.
I don't be lying.
Her.
Does anybody
Leo.
have a coin?
Anybody got a Leo?
She's flip. Yeah, she's doing paper, rock, scissors to go first.
What's your sign?
So you guys turned them into here, right? I
Just
can
don't
pull it up on
stop
the
lying
screen.
at your mouth.
No.
Want to around. That's how much I know
You just want to plug into the computer. You'll do fine. Don't stress about it. You're literally so the diversity experiences. We had to do this when I was in social work school. Also, is you put yourself into a place where you would be different from the general population. I was from Cincinnati, Ohio, inner city. Grew up in kind of like food desert area, very diverse community. I went to social work school at the University of Kentucky in Lexington, so like very country, similar to here. So they had the option. Some of them went to like Walmart and saw how the checkout process was. Some of them went and ate at Bob Evans and Xenia, which is country. Where did you guys go? Beaver Creek, and then where did you go?
We went to Walmart.
Walmart. I think yours will be good. So
Wait, what's this? What other house?
the presentation. That's why I told you what you turned in last night. It looked first off, it
We gotta
looked
go
like
somewhere?
a robot wrote your presentation,
What?
like AI, because the presentation is you go and have an experience at the restaurant, write about it.
So what
And
about the roosters?
Oh,
Absolutely.
I'm thinking like.
Yes, but don't have AI write your papers for you. I know that it seems like a good idea now. This is a new thing. So we're getting these AI papers and it look like you can tell immediately. Like it's just like gobs of information, zero citations. Like you can tell right away, like just the naked eye. I don't even need to run it through the plagiarism check. It's just so obvious that it's kind of funny. I'm like, well, that's great information about social work, but it doesn't address the assignment. So just make sure to read the assignment, what you're supposed to do, and then present, which these two. So you're really still fighting over who's going first? You want to go?
So I did it, but I did it about.
Yeah, me too. That's what I did.
So the idea is to have a new experience with it. If you wrote it in such a way that I would have no idea when you did it, how am I
I
supposed
wrote
to?
like it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I put the dates, the time.
The idea is having a new experience.
For real, like I put the exact date when it happened.
When did it happen?
It happened on the day I came to college. It happened August the 2nd of 2023. I will never forget.
When
the
you
day.
moved into Xenia? or
No,
what?
I didn't even move to Xenia. I was packing my stuff at home to move to Xenia. And I was moving to Xenia the next day. And I was going to leave my job. But this crazy lady, I'm calling that,
What was the job?
I was working at a nursing home.
Okay.
And like, it was like, you know, you working around old people that's
Yes.
different, not your color.
Born in
They say
1942.
what they want to say, and I don't play that because you ain't talking to me.
So they might have had dementia. And
You gotta go
said,
get your daughter or something about
Okay,
me, baby.
okay. No, that's a good experience to share about. And the more important, so more important is how do we react to it? Because as a social worker, we're going to encounter every race, religion, ethnicity, color, all of the above. And how do I react to that? Like, do I get
I never like, I don't discredit, I don't let like you saying no, I love being black. So like,
Yeah,
I love it so
absolutely.
much. Like, I don't even care that you don't like my color.
Yes.
You can say we ghetto, you can say we ratchet, but you see 95% black people on top. Like, let's really be real here. So can't nobody make me really feel bad about being black. I actually love that.
So you handled it well, is what I'm
Yeah,
hearing you say.
I
See,
love
that's
it.
good. And that's the whole point of the exercise. So,
But I could change it because I definitely wrote about something in the past.
right. The idea is to have a new experience with it. So I can extend it and you guys can have a chance to go eat at like the Xenia Bob Evans. It's different than eating at like Milwaukee's if they have Bob Evans or Cincinnati Bob Evans. You know what I mean? Like it's just a different experience.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna go to that.
Yeah. We also have a Christian school 3 miles away. It's called, yeah. And so some go to the Chick-fil-A there and just see how
We
the,
just was with them yesterday to see if people read out with this school after we left ROTC.
because they have a Chick-fil-A. Oh, are you in ROTC? Okay. They make you do push-ups?
Now yesterday we cleaned up the cemetery yesterday on some nasty shit. We was on our knees scrubbing a face of the little, you know, yeah, bro, like.
Will they cover school then?
Yeah, they cover school.
Okay.
But they need to give me some real money.
Do they let you bring your kid up here to?
For my son.
Yeah.
I don't know if they let me, but I still be bringing him up.
Yeah,
I
that's
bring him up
good.
in
That's
the-
good.
You know,
We're trying to set up so there is
over there,
daycare.
Over there.
Yeah, you go, tell them to bring it up.
So did that help kind of break the ice for one of you all to go?
No.
Really? What's making you feel anxious about it?
$9.
How about you? Okay.
You might gotta make a new paper up. You can make up something like that.
Not a paper slide.
Oh, that's what I did. I typed the paper and stop shot to
Did you turn it in through?
That's what I was about to do. 'Cause I'm
Can you
like,
extend this assignment?
I will. You know, I'm too easy on y'all.
Yeah.
and I'm
Set you
like
up for
the other
failure
teacher.
with the teachers that are like,
That's how our next teacher is.
I'm sure you're going to run into them. That's just life. You're going to run into them.
I already got a teacher like that. That's why I just
See?
Yeah.
I just still get out there.
They told me, my other teacher told me to report him.
Mm-hmm.
My other teacher.
You file a grievance. That's what it's called.
Because I talked to him in class,
Mhm.
I emailed him multiple times, and still nothing. And he keeps saying the same thing. And he talk about he work in reverse. What does that mean?
Only 6 people did that assignment.
Yeah, like.
What the fuck?
Y'all better
I mean, what the
get.
heck?
You want to pass this class? You
Y'all
better get your
did my
assignments in.
assignment.
I was
That's
like,
not bad. That's
So
not
how does your last name? How do you
bad.
spell it?
Come on now, y'all. We
Okay.
gotta do better.
Got it. Yes.
I'm just like.
Get your stuff in. That's one thing that I can go easy and extend it, but if nothing's turned in, it's.
I don't even know if I did
That's
that.
a mess.
Because I want somebody else to go
Only
first.
6 people. It's 23 of us.
What's that? What'd you say?
It's 23 of us. Only 6 people. That's not cool.
I mean, people-
It probably means 6 still need to be graded. So those are like the recent terms.
It said 6 completed. I just said that. Don't lie to me. That's a mess. No, it's not. funny.
Tell 'em to get their-
That's
You
not.
want a college degree? They
to not come to class.
Bro, yeah, this is not cool. I don't come to class, but I do. Oh my word.
We got
I
2
sleep
on
too
here.
much.
Well, at least there's 3 on here. They must have COVID again.
Hey, he funny as a
They was
Hey, he is drama.
You catch COVID 3 times in the semester.
We can redo ours. We can do ours tonight. Friend, we can do ours tonight.
Why do I
All
play
right.
all day?
We can damn it look like.
We can go anywhere.
Yeah, just go.
Okay,
You
what-
got a
what's your
card?
next class?
What's this?
What time? 11. I got a class at 12.
Oh, mine do not look
What's
like
what
that.
next class?
That's okay.
My last very orientated. Mine was.
All right, that's cool.
So we don't embarrass you. Yeah.
Okay.
No,
We
we
wanna
want
make
to
her feel
stay.
I think we're scaring her.
Please have a coffee and a snack and 311. Get a coffee and a snack and 311.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna turn my paper up. Hers was nice.
You all, look at this.
You're
Yeah,
okay.
my
That's
stuff
all
was
right.
nice.
You're fine.
You need to show it.
What'd you say?
Sorry.
They're beautiful. Oh, I didn't know.
It's cute, but it's.
Girl, I was like, y'all, at first I was gonna write on it, like, I had a paper roll, and then I like reread it, and it's like
Just
slides,
click
and I was
on
like,
that
I don't know, it's cute. It
right. I thought you meant the police.
What the thought emergency. What you say?
I thought you meant the police.
Oh, no,
Because women say they like seeing men in uniform.
I do.
I'm just.
See, I'm serious. I don't know what it is, but they're like, oh, I love firefighters. That's okay. It's probably just loading.
Oh.
And it takes a minute. It'll go into like presentation. There you go. Which is weird, yeah. And then it will read off what I say.
So what are our classes? Because last time I came, we had more than this. It's like 4 of us.
So we have a 50% dropout rate. Period.
Yeah, they told us that. Like,
Yeah.
Really?
So when you see 23 in a class, by December or May, you'll have 12 or 11 left. So I want you all to stay. I want you all to turn in your stuff.
They ain't that presentation up though. They say look to your left, look to your right. The person off your shoulder ain't gonna be here when y'all graduate.
Somebody just texted me and said, I don't know you real.
Are you guys ready to listen to her presentation?
Right, keep up.
You ready?
Nigga, come see about me. My choice was Texas Roadhouse and Beaver Creek. I had one with my teammates because we had like a little. Our coach told us to get out with each other more. It was 10 of us. It was all black. We had been around like 8 or 9 o'clock. And honestly, I expected them because Beaver Creek is like an all-white city, and I expected them to be racist, but not like outright in this. No, not that. I expected them to be like, my paying attention to take our order, then leave, and you know. They actually not racist out there in Beaver Creek. They Texas Roadhouse is the nicest Texas Roadhouse.
Or my brother-in-law is a priest actually. at
I
St.
love
Luke's
that
Church.
Texas Roadhouse. Y'all have to go there.
Okay.
Wait, why that thing popping up at the line?
It was when I used to have a
Like
student.
this saying exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I would change it to Russian because there was a Russian student, but I changed it back because it was confusing. to
Okay,
everybody.
so when I rush,
That's wrong.
right.
It's weird, I know.
No, it's wrong. Like
You like it? Yeah, you can say, it's on PowerPoint.
Okay. So
If
if
you
you
go-
Spanish, you can do that.
Yes, it will do it in
Okay.
Spanish for you, it's cool.
I need to do that with some of these Bohemian.
Some of these professors, they can't speak English. But anyway, Beaver Creek is mostly white and it's 2.9% African American. I was surprised because, well, not really, I didn't see a lot of black people, but yeah, and it was predominantly white and female Texas Roadhouse. The waitress, she was actually really nice. She had like 3 other tables and they wasn't as full as ours, but she didn't pay them no attention really. Like she took their drinks and came back to them like one other time to bring them the food. But that was it. And then she was like constantly refilling our drinks. We didn't even have to ask for it. We was trying to make sure it wasn't costing no extra. She was just trying to get her tip in. But anyway.
Is that because you had the biggest table too?
Are we good?
Did you have the most people?
No, it was a bigger table than us, but I
Okay.
don't think that was her table. I think that was her section. I see her go over there. I'm from Cleveland, and that's like it's well, the place that I'm from is mostly black. So every time I go out to eat, like it's black waiters, black hosts, black all that. So I wouldn't say I was surprised because I expected it to be white, but the service was good. I would go back, and the lady, she wasn't rude to us. She didn't treat us no different. She actually treated us better. So I would recommend, like she said, I would go there.
Yeah, it's heavy on me.
Overall, I think this is a good idea for social work because it teaches you how to be open-minded with things. Be ready for a new experience. Don't go in judging, just go in on straight facts.
I do got another question.
That's it.
We can finish it.
That's it.
Okay, so what if I write about like sexual red line, sexual red? Like,
What you asked?
Why she sexy red?
Friend, that don't have nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't go nowhere, so it's like, where I'm gonna go and say?
Friend, everywhere we can go. Oh my God.
You go anywhere, for real. And anywhere in Wilberforce and Xenia is mostly a diverse experience compared to my inner city Cincinnati growing up. Like I grew up in
You
Kennedy
can go
Heights.
to Wendy's.
Yeah, you can go to Wendy's.
At 1 o'clock.
Okay.
For lunch, we can go to Wendy's today.
Okay, anyways.
Walmart.
Or there.
Okay.
I have some things. Okay.
Right, yeah, it's just down to
I
earth.
was just overthinking it.
Right, yeah. Don't have the robots write your stuff, I know that. Just have your own experience, get real, and we'll get you through. So you guys, we have more. Holy shit. You wanna plug in?
Sure.
Okay. Do you feel better now that you're not the first one going? See? I knew it. Does it have to go into the other one? Are they both C drives or is that not a C drive? Because if you turned it in, I could also pull it up.
Yeah.
So.
Why I didn't see the video from the other class?
You didn't see the video? What's that? What's the video?
Tuesday? Yeah, on Tuesday.
It didn't go live, you're saying?
No, I looked on YouTube and everything.
It's on there.
What?
It ain't on there.
I tried to look so I could
Yeah, I
see somebody
tried to
else
see.
present.
Oh, my mom, that's one reason I was looking, so I could see how it go. How y'all present.
Oh.
And it ain't on there.
So it just like died out.
Mm-hmm.
I feel sad now. Can I find it?
I got it. It's on, it said 2 days ago.
Dr. Trout channel at Central.
Click
State.
it, it ain't on to go to it. That's what
Like, did it not upload?
It worked. I look for it.
It didn't work for me.
It wasn't on the.
Me.
Remember, they also shut my channel down as I showed the intro to the movie called Died Suddenly about the vaccine. I want you guys to get something that was like that.
Well, why is that so shiny?
Oh, Jersey
You might have to
Mike's.
put the link.
Jersey Mike's good.
Jersey Mike's is fine. Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm
I figured you guys would go out
I'm
somewhere.
gonna get out of class right now.
So then,
Like, oh my God. When now that you're talking about your own,
let's see.
like I
See how
can't wait
much
to take it.
it's like all mad about
I'm gonna be real this so I can write so.
you.
I just tell her right.
Take me to McDonald's.
You go to McDonald's.
We know, that's what we said.
You go to McDonald's. So.
No, I was just saying that's how we be funny to the coworkers.
Mm-hmm. I take me down, take me there.
No,
we
like,
did that
why
shit.
is
We got a
date?
we got a whole paper right.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
So then you
yeah,
also
yeah.
have to go back to assignments, and that's where you turn the power. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that is called, you're right, this one is. That's funny, you had to look for the video for quite a while. Excuse me, anybody else presenting today?
No, we all know it's Tuesday.
'Cause we don't have class on Thursday, you know.
Well, wow.
We're going to, this class is gone because I'm attending the Council on Social Work Education to keep us accredited, and then if we stay accredited, you guys get money, advanced standing, 1 year master's, which saves you 30 hours of a master's degree at
I wanna make
$700.
it,
Press this thing right here, you see that? It's the
oh, no, I can't see
slideshow.
anything.
Over a couple more, so it's 3 more over. Yep, it's the slideshow. And then
So how many slides do we have to have?
just cover like 5, 6, 7 minutes.
Okay.
That's all you got.
7 minutes.
5, 6, or 7.
Well, 5, 6, or 7. I'm gonna do 30.
That's like a 60%.
Okay.
Okay, so
That's a
this is,
deeper diploma.
my name is Pressure McKnight. If y'all didn't know. This is my Walmart. I don't see the little mouse just like over.
You can just press the arrow, I think. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so my experience is kind of weird because it happened like outside and inside of Walmart. Like this man, he was like an older white guy. He like followed us in the store. Like, I don't know what was going on.
Stalking.
I thought he was a worker guy, so that's gonna play a big part into the story. So he was outside the store smoking when we were walking in. Then like he walked in right behind us.
Right.
I don't know. So it was me and 2 of my other friends.
That's creepy.
We all black, y'all. So
Oh,
You
I'm
was
not
white?
into